I've started romanticizing my life, but I'm doing it my way and ensuring that it's authentically me. After yet another inspiring woman that I follow on social media stated that she romanticizes her life, I took the concept, pulled it apart to really understand what it's about, and then I put it together again to suit me and my lifestyle. Maybe you've also misinterpreted the idea of romanticizing your life. Well, join me today as I share what it actually means and the 3 things romanticizing my life is not for me, and the 3 things that I'm embracing on this quest. I'm the Forest Fairy. Welcome to my corner of the woods where I'm rebuilding, revamping, redesigning a magical life and hopefully inspire you to gather your own fairy dust. Hello everyone, I hope you're having a fabulous week. I'm sad October is on its way out. It's always been my favorite month, mainly because everything is flowering and summer is on its way, but also because it's my birthday month and I've learned that being able to age is a blessing. Not everyone is so lucky. And so what better month to chat about romanticizing my life than October? Initially, I misunderstood this concept totally, as I thought it was about being a demure, waif-like soul who spends her time sitting on windowsills reading, filling her home with flowers, candles and frills, and pampering several flourishing herbs. Although I love flowers and herbs, I've never been fond of candles. They're quite toxic, nor of frills. Now, romanticizing your life may for you include these elements. But that's fine, but that's not what it's about as its essence. It's a philosophy that took off during the COVID pandemic, and like several things that were birthed during this time, it seems to have continued. Romanticizing your life is about shifting your mindset to focus on the beauty in small everyday moments. Instead of just waiting for grand events, it encourages you to embrace mindfulness and gratitude, enhancing the quality of your daily routines and tasks, like a cup of tea or taking a walk or even doing chores, and turning them into intentional, joyful rituals. Well, it now had my attention and support, as these are things we have often chatted about in various Forest Fairy conversations. And once I understood what it's really about, I couldn't resist the temptation to redesign romanticizing my life into something that is authentically me. Perhaps this conversation will have you redesigning this philosophy to suit you and your lifestyle. Just to get you thinking, I'll be sharing the 3 things that it's not and the 3 things that it is for me. In delving into the concept of romanticizing my life, I realized there are 3 things that it's not for me. I've already mentioned this, but it's worth repeating. Romanticizing my life is not about pretty things like flowers, candles, beautiful teacups, and lovely smelling homes. Yes, of course, some of these do feature in my life, and I enjoy them thoroughly, but they are more the result of romanticizing my life, not the core of this concept as I see it. It's not about making my life picture pretty and acquiring things to do so. Then I've seen there is the other extreme of romanticizing one's life. It's all about minimalism and making life simple and slow. Maybe you are at a phase where simple and slow is easy to implement and it suits you fine. It is, however, not the overall theme of my life. There are areas where I have made things simpler and slower, like more clean eating, fewer possessions, and fewer expenses. But then there are areas which are anything but slow and simple. I've also seen the philosophy of romanticizing my life accused of being things like hedonism or pretty privilege. This rings true if you're looking at it through the lens of being things, the acquiring of things and the showcasing or even flaunting of the things. But if you look at romanticizing my life at its origin, it's about creating meaning, beauty, and even joy in the mundane, ordinary daily tasks, which is especially needed when going through challenging times. And here I speak from personal experience. When things got wildly tough recently, I made an intentional, though sometimes very difficult effort to focus on the beauty and wonder that my life contains. I was already romanticizing my life without realizing it. But what I do realize is that it has nothing to do with things like age, status, wealth, taste, ethnic grouping, or gender. Then there are the 3 things romanticizing my life is. And again, this is for me. Being authentically me is at the core of romanticizing my life. In fact, it's at the core of most of my philosophies and beliefs, and is something I value and strive to be. I say strive because it is not a once said, all done kind of thing. It is something I have to commit to consistently and continually. In the concept of romanticizing my life, I'm looking at both my values and my most favorite version of myself. I spoke about this in the conversation Identity Shifting. 2 experts say why and how to shift your identity. Because, for example, what use is it if I romanticize regular leisurely meetups with friends to have coffee and cake when I actually value mindful spending? I don't drink coffee, I'd rather meet up for a walk or a swim, and my future self is intentional about clean eating. Now, this is a silly example. Of course, it's not to say I never would do it, but it's not a priority for me and it doesn't feel authentically me. As I mentioned earlier, romanticizing myself has nothing to do with things like age, status, wealth, ethnic grouping, or gender, but rather with a certain mindset. For me, there are 3 traits within romanticizing my life: gratitude, mindfulness, and intentionality. I smile as these words roll off my tongue so easily. In real life, I sometimes find them difficult to action. Gratitude is the most powerful emotion and the one that I do express often, sometimes throughout the day, but always at night. After I've turned the light off, I lie and contemplate the things of the day for which I'm grateful. This has a twofold impact. The first is that I actively recognize what I should and can be grateful for. And the second is that I fall asleep in a positive frame of mind. How you romanticize your life will look very different from how I romanticize mine. And so it should be, as each of us has our own basket of values, beliefs, and philosophies. I started from the mindset of gratitude, mindfulness, and intentionality. Aside from my daily gratitude practice, I also made a list of the things I'm deeply grateful at this phase of my life. It includes the fact that I'm healthy, I have a close-knit family, and have a purpose that gets me excited and up every day. What do I need to be mindful and intentional about? How can I give something a positive spin, or in other words, romanticize it? For example, how can I romanticize my finances, how I spend, allocate, and keep track of my money? By having a system and getting excited by knowing where I spend and invest. And how can I romanticize simple, healthy meals? By visiting markets and buying locally and in season. And how can I romanticize a very small home? By reframing it into a cozy cottage that nurtures me. This is maybe where it becomes more things, changing up or down, like choosing your most beautiful mug to drink your tea in, getting rid of your excess stuff, and focusing on the few cherished pieces you kept. And there you have it. Now I understand the concept. I actually agree with the philosophy of romanticizing my life. It adds a beauty and a joy to things that can so easily be considered mundane, trivial, or sad. It got me thinking about how does romanticizing my life actually manifest in my reality? What does gratitude, mindfulness, and intentionality look like for me? I hope you are now able to view this philosophy differently and see where you could romanticize your life. If you enjoyed this conversation, then check out the conversation on the 6 conventional things I quit to become more me. Wishing you a week filled with romance, for a want of a better word, and of course, sprinklings of fairy dust. Until next time, goodbye